You've seen this story a million times, right? The super rich, powerful boss who goes undercover to see what life is really like on the ground floor. It's one of the oldest, coolest tricks in the storytelling playbook. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain and figure out why this one story is so incredibly powerful and what it says about us.
I mean, just think about it for a second. Picture your own CEO, maybe in a bad wig and a fake name, working right next to you. It's this amazing fantasy, isn't it? The idea that the person at the very top could get a real, unfiltered look at what's actually going on.
And look, this isn't just some random daydream. It's a huge global storytelling engine. You see it everywhere, from big-budget TV shows to web novels that go totally viral. It's a story that just hooks into our deepest wishes for fairness, for connection, and yeah, maybe for a little bit of magic.
Oh, and Korean dramas? They are the absolute masters of this. You've got the heir to a giant corporation, a secret royal, or some ruthless CEO hiding who they really are. And bam, you've got the perfect setup for romance, for laugh-out-loud moments, and for some seriously high-stakes drama.
Let's take a huge hit like Queen of Tears. The billionaire heiress is pretending to be just another intern, and the smart, kind of clueless guy who works with her, who she's going to marry one day, has no idea. For us watching, it creates this delicious tension, this dramatic irony, because we're on the secret. We get to watch this real connection grow, all while this massive secret is just waiting to blow up.
And it's not just a K-drama thing. Not at all. Over in Indonesia, the web novel scene is exploding with titles that basically just scream the plot at you. Stuff like, thought he was a mechanic, turns out he's a sultan, or my office boy is my CEO. It's so obvious that this fantasy of the hidden, powerful person is something readers just can't get enough of.
Okay, so that's how it all plays out in fiction, where you can make anything happen. But what happens when you try to bring this fantasy into the real world? What does the undercover boss look like when there's no script? Well, that's where the show Undercover Boss comes in. It's this huge global reality TV franchise that takes this exact fantasy and tries to make it real. You've got these high-powered executives. They put on the disguises, make up some fake backstories, and go work on the front lines of their own companies. The show's insane success really comes down to this simple but super powerful 5-step formula. You see it every single time. First, the disguise. Then watching them fumble through a real job. Then you get these really emotional chats with the employees. After that comes the big reveal back at headquarters. And finally, the rewards. The life-changing gifts for the people who really deserve it. And let me tell you, people were absolutely glued to their screens. The show's premiere in the US aired right after the Super Bowl back in 2010, and it pulled in a mind-blowing 38.6 million viewers. I mean, that's not just a hit TV show. That's a full-blown cultural event. Okay, but this is where it gets really interesting. Because even though the fictional stories and the reality show use the exact same disguise idea, the reasons behind them are totally different. They're telling two completely separate stories with two very different endings in mind.
So, in fiction, the disguise is almost always about finding true love, right? It's about breaking down social barriers to find a real connection. But on Undercover Boss, it's a business move. It's a management tool to find problems in the system and figure out how to make more money. One's a fairy tale, the other is basically a business consultant in a cheap wig.
And this is where that shiny fantasy starts to get a little complicated. Because while the fictional stories are all about pure escapism, the reality TV version has gotten some pretty serious pushback for what it's actually doing in the real world.
Critics, like Alex McLevy from the AV Club, have called the show blatant propaganda. The argument is basically this: the show isn't really about fixing systemic problems for all workers. Instead, it acts like a PR campaign, making it seem like the only way things get better is if a single, kind-hearted boss happens to show up and randomly hand out gifts.
So you've got a fairy tale on one side and what some people call corporate PR on the other. So why are we so obsessed with both of them? What is the secret ingredient here that makes the story so powerful, no matter how it's told?
Well, it all boils down to some of the most basic things we all want as human beings. We are desperate to believe in justice, that if you work hard and you're a good person, you'll be rewarded. We all crave recognition, the fantasy that someone in charge will finally see how hard we're working. And we hang on to this hope that the people with power can actually be good, empathetic people. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's a romance or a reality show. Both versions tap into this incredibly powerful idea that who you are, your real worth, has nothing to do with your job title or how much money you have. It's about your character, your grit, your heart. And that's something that can be seen no matter what. And so that leaves us with one last big question to chew on.
The fact that we are so hungry for these stories about the boss who cares, the one who actually shows up, what does that tell us about our real working lives today? Maybe it shows just how much we're all longing for a little more empathy, a little more recognition, and a real human connection, in a world where the people in charge can feel so very far away.